As a kid growing up in Guam, there were a few things that I was sure of. I would make a difference in the world, and that I loved music.
Hello, I'm Katie Marie, CFO, co-founder of WeDoItForTheLoveOfMusic.com. Well, around that time, life was crazy. Every day was something different, something new. I was working for an amazing firm. I loved my job. Unfortunately, the company went public and then layoffs followed right behind it, which was so scary because I worked so hard to be there. And then right around that time frame, my mother calls me to tell me my stepfather has throat cancer and it wasn't going to be a good outcome, which is crazy because he's such an incredibly talented musician who traveled all over the US and all over Europe. It was hard. Well, We Do It For The Love of Music inspired me to help the growing artists, much like my stepdad who tried and succeeded from the underground and came up to be so successful in the rock area.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean McMurray, CEO and co-founder of WeDoItForLoveOfMusic.com. Music has always been a real big part of my life. It's the one thing that I can say has always been there for me no matter what, and I've always been told that I've had eccentric listening habits. And I think that's a direct reflection of the diversity in my family. I got white, I got black, I got Spanish, Puerto Rican, Filipino, Irish. You look at a family photo, and I mean, it's a diversity of cultures, of races, of colors, and we all just kind of mesh to make this one, multiracial family. And I think my listening habits are a direct reflection of that. If you think about it, I grew up listening to Nas, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Bone Thugs and Harmony was actually the first CD I ever purchased. I was listening to Green Day. That was the first cassette tape I ever bought. And then I was listening to MC Hammer, LL Cool J, shout out Uncle Mike. I was listening to Nirvana, Guar, Depeche Mode. I was listening to Screeching Weasel, Thanks Uncle Jay. I was listening to Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Thanks Grandpa, Queen, Journey, Kansas, Thanks Dad, and reggae. I was listening to reggae heavy, coming from the islands. Reggae was a big part of what we listened to, In fact, the first concert I ever went to was a reggae concert, thanks to my mom. It was actually the company my mom was working for. She actually was able to score tickets for my birthday, my 10th birthday. And I actually got to go backstage and I was able to meet Ziggy Marley. I was able to meet Big Mountain. And there were a number of other big reggae acts at the time that were there. And that was a huge part of my life. That was a big part of my life, a happy moment that, I'll never forget. Here we are pulling up to Northeast 123rd Street, Miami, Florida, 33181. It's an address that I'll never forget. It's kind of where it all started, This was my first apartment in Miami. At the time, I'd actually just gotten out of the military. I was stationed at Hill Air Force Base in Utah, and it was kind of a confusing part of my life at the time. It was I didn't quite know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, and the one thing I knew was that I was tired of the cold and I wanted to move somewhere warm. And so I packed all my stuff in my car and I drove, I think it was like 2,500 miles from Utah to Miami. And actually the first 3 to 4 months I lived in Miami, I was actually homeless. So I would live out of my car, out of hotels, until I actually made a friend out here who was kind enough to actually let me live with him. And it was cool, you know. The only thing was I was sleeping on a blow-up mattress, right? And it was a pink blow-up mattress. I remember it to this day, that had a hole in it. And so every night I would blow up the mattress, right? And really, when I say mattress, it was really the blow-up pool toys, you know, the blow-up pool beds. And so I would blow it up, and by the middle of the night, my ass would be on the floor because the air would be leaking out. And by the time I woke up, all the air would be at my head, and the rest of my body would literally be on the floor. And so this was kind of my life for, you know, the first year while I was here. And so this was really an upgrade for me, you know. It was a studio apartment, and it was on the water. It was something that I always said that I would do, and it was something that I was able to do. So a lot of people want to know who Bob is named after.
It's actually kind of funny, a little gross, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess there's two stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the official story, and there's the truth.
The truth is kind of...
Yeah, and I guess, you know, so the official story is this. Bob, our logo is named after Bob Marley. And I don't really know if we should go into, I guess, the truth of it.
Might as well tell him.
Yeah, I guess. You know, the truth is, in our old apartment on 123rd Street, remember, you know, it was a nice place, but at the time it was roach infested and mosquitoes. Oh my God, we lived on the water. Mosquitoes were everywhere. And so it was always, you know, it was always the rule that it was always a green light on mosquitoes. And so, you know, we showed no mercy. So anyways, one mosquito landed on the wall, and I happened to kill it.
And left it there forever. Almost 2 years. It just stayed there. A dead mosquito, a carcass.
Well, you know, it kind of has some sentimental value after a while. Cat actually named the mosquito Bob.
I did.
You know, and so it was...
It's only right. He's there for so long. He's family.
And so, you know, and then we came to the logo, selecting the logo and the name of it. And again, she kind of was just like, Bob. And, you know, it was random. And, you know, and so that's the real story on how the logo came to be called Bob. You know, Bob was such a great name, really, in all sense of things. You know, Bob Marley, of course, you know, when you think of music, Bob Marley. And, you know,
The legacy of Bob.
that's how it came to be. So we're basically driving down the highway, and it's like it was the same 4 artists on repeat. And I think at the time it was Wayne, Drake, Minaj, and Ross on repeat, and it was the same 4 songs on repeat. And you know, really, I mean, they're good artists. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, damn, how many times can you listen to a song and, you know, on repeat, just constantly all day? But you know, anyways, I get to thinking, I'm like, you know, there's millions of people who do music in this world. Why are we only listening to the same 4 on repeat? It just doesn't make sense. There's millions and millions of talented people out there that, you know, maybe they just don't have the opportunities. And so it was from that where, you know, this idea kind of came about.
A lot of people wonder how we came up with the logo, but I'm going to let Sean tell this story.
Yeah, so at the time, I mean, we absolutely knew nothing about business. And so, you know, we did know, though, that we needed a logo. And my aunt, shout out to Aunt Erica out there in Seattle, Washington, I knew she was in graphic design, and she's always just been super talented artistically. And I reached out to my grandma, and I was like, hey, you know, I need to get a hold of Aunt Erica. And she put me in contact, and you know, the rest is history, as they say. So she sent us a series of logos. There was a frog logo, there was a wire logo. I mean, there was probably about... The wires was cool. The wires was cool. There's probably about 6 or 7 she sent us, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, but there was the one that I saw that we know as Bob, that just stuck out with me, and I was just like, that is it. No matter what she sent us, no matter what she did, I knew that was the logo. And it's crazy because no one agreed with me, not even Catherine. I was like, this is it. This has to be it, you know. And in one of those rare scenarios, Catherine conceded, and she agreed.
Not that rare. Come on now.
So, anyways, Bob became the logo, and that's how it came to be. You see, we're not quite where we want to be. We don't have $1 million backing or huge connections. Neither of us have college degrees. We're not Apple. We're not Microsoft. We're not MTV. We do it for the love of music.com, started by 2 ordinary people looking to make a difference in the world. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but we know that we'll make an impact. Our story is still developing. We hope that you will be a part of our story, and maybe we do it for the love of music.com can be a part of your story as well.